Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially healthcare. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Attention Ditto Heads. Attention Bo Scouts.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
It's time for the soul of excellence.
He is a radio host here in New York.
The Rush Hour is on the air.
Rush.
Now here's James Golden.
Federal law requires that employers get authorization and documentation to pay people for their work. We are not allowed to just cut checks to individuals for their work. This is all long-standing. This is a long-standing program and long-standing requirements, and this is a way that New Yorkers get paid to shovel snow in assistance with the city's response to a winter storm event. These are the policies that we've had in place, but I understand that for many it's the first time that they've ever heard about it.
It's slipping me who it was, but someone put out an excellent X or tweet this morning saying that she was physically shaking because as a married woman, she just wants to make a little extra cash snow shoveling to help out with the effort. But because she's a married woman, she might struggle with all of the paper and the ID requirements. They're disenfranchising all of us that might want to get out there and help, and I'm physically shaking.
Right, and we want to make our 20 plus bucks an hour, although I really wonder how it's monitored, you know, how much you're digging, where you're putting the snow. It's a fascinating thing. It's a very interesting New York City thing. My favorite quote on this is actually Jimmy Fela, who deserves all the credit on this. He says, Zoran Mandami requiring 2 forms of ID to be a voluntary shoveler for the blizzard. This is Jim Snow 2.0. So I thought that was equally as clever. But of course he's going to get some flack on this because of the appearance of hypocrisy related to the SAVE Act and the Democratic Socialists of America, very against showing any forms of ID for voting. So this is what it all comes back to, but it is very funny. And hopefully there are people that agree to dig, because I think we're going to need diggers.
You really do need diggers today, ladies and gentlemen. Snowmageddon. Historic snow is falling. Historic snow. Welcome to the Monday edition on Snow. Jim Snow 2.0. James Goldman, Bo Snerdley with you. Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. Historic snow. 27.1 inches in Newark, New Jersey. Central Park hits top 10 status as blizzard continues to bury Manhattan. Rhode Island, record shattered. Providence, 32.8 inches in historic blizzard. The last time there was a blizzard that was historic, 28.6 inches fell. Now, do you think people see the difference in those 3 inches? Historic. 31 inches, 0.5 in Warwick, Rhode Island. In Babylon, New York, 29. It goes down the East Coast. 1,600 flights already canceled for mañana. Tomorrow, by the way, kiddies got to show up to school in New York. And let's see where else. Maryland, sadly, fatalities. 2 people killed when a Calvert County, when a tree fell there and crushed a pickup truck. Yeah. Anyway, hope you're safe. Hope you're warm. The New York Times had an article about some of the homeless people that were sheltering in place still on the streets. And so I just say, dear New Yorkers and dear people in the area there, many of you homeowners will be glad to know that this is the last one for you. It is. I mean, if Mom Dummy gets his way, his property taxes will push you out of your homes. You will be homeless. So you're not going to have to worry about any more of these historic snowstorms. Also, yes, you might be concerned about the homeless on the streets of New York, but rest assured that thank you for your generous support from taxpayers that the illegal immigrant population will be lodged and fed at your expense, so you can at least know that your virtue is still intact. And if you have shown the proper identification, show them your papers, you might be able to help shovel some of the snow and make a few dollars. Although for a certain group, that the idea of working is not really something that is attractive at all, let us say. There is news besides the snow and the horror, and again, please be safe. One of the reports that I read earlier was indicating, too, the type of snow this is. This isn't. Those of you who've had to spend, like I have, many hours shoveling snow know exactly what they're talking about. When the snow mixes with the rain coming down, it's heavier. And when you try to, that's the heart attack snow. That's you shovel that and you're not in shape. So be careful and stay warm. Because it's a very dense snow. It's not the light, fluffy snow that just comes right up. It's a very dense, heavy snow that takes a lot of effort to remove. So be careful. Now, in some of the other news, we have gone back through the archives today, inspired by Gavin Newsom, and found a few things for you. Gavin Newsom, over the weekend, and I was alerted to this, my text messages blew up. It was Lady Benedict and Princess Di, and all of a sudden my text messages blew up. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, what is this? What is this? No, he couldn't have said that. No, he didn't. He did. Gavin Newsom speaking, black moderator, interviewer, in front of what I understand was a black audience. He's telling a black audience. Cut 5, he's telling a black audience the following.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
Okay, do we understand what he's saying? He's speaking to a black audience, and he says, I, Gavin Newsom, born in a very privileged environment, by the way, although I'm trying to create the myth that I was born into poverty, born in a very privileged environment. I am like you dark people. I'm like you, a YN. I'm like you. My SAT scores are not high. I'm dumb like you. And like you ends, like you, I don't know how to read. I'm illiterate like you, and they're sitting laughing. Isn't that nice? He's like me. Bunch of liberals sitting there laughing as the governor insults their intelligence, insults them by calling them dumb and illiterate. Now, I also think that there's something here that I don't like besides the connotations of what Gavin Newsom said. Gavin Newsom has dyslexia. So when he says he can't read, he has problems reading. And dyslexia, if you know anybody that has suffered through dyslexia, it is a very, very challenging thing to deal with. We've had many famous Americans. Did you know General Patton was dyslexic? And it took him hours and hours and hours to overcome it to the point where he could perform, especially I think it affected his in military school. And there have been other people that have had dyslexia. I don't think that dyslexia is a joking matter, but he chose to do, he wants to ingratiate himself to black people. And so what he says to his black audience is, why me, privileged Gavin, me, I'm like you. I'm dim. Or I didn't rank high in aptitude. I'm not the smartest guy. Like you, I'm not smart. I'm not the smartest of the smart. Like you, I don't know how to read. Ever see me making speech? I can't. This is insulting beyond belief. But it's not unusual for Democrats to be. In fact, let us revisit another voice that you are familiar with. Carlos, just play cut 6. You will recognize who it is and remember this.
And the other thing we should do is we should challenge these students. We should challenge students in these schools to have advanced placement programs in these schools. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black kids.
That would be Joe Biden. What, poor kids? And we do know who he's referring to, them to we. Poor, because he didn't make a differentiation. We know they must be other than the white kids that he's talking about. Because they're just as the white kids. That would be Joe Biden. Not the first time with Joe Biden. Cut 7. Remember this from Joe Biden.
Manish, how are you, man? Well, good to see you. As you know, I got a lot of support from you, Cindy. That's where, and more to come, I think. Yeah, so, no, I've had a great relationship. In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking. Oh, gigantic.
Oh, yeah, gigantic. I get support from you people. Why you can't go in Delaware, you can't go into a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' unless you have an Indian accent like them brown people from India. And then we have more, but we are up against the break.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940.
That's all there.
But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
Yes. Well, my friends, Gavin Newsom insulting the black folks, and they just laugh right along with it. The black liberals along with him, telling him they're dumb, and he's just like them. I'm dumb like you. You never see me read a speech. But let's remember, this is just something to be a Democrat governor. Let's check in with another Democrat governor. Cut number 8. Just like you.
In fact, I talked to a lot of other people, said, I wish my governor had thought of that first. I said, no, this is New York. We like to be first, with all due respect to people from other states. It's sort of our attitude. We will be the best. We will be the first. And I want others to follow, because right now we have, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things.
There you go. There you go. That's enough. Wait, they got 960. They have 960 SAT scores. They can't read. We got young black ones. We got our own we got our own we have our own in the Bronx, and they don't even know what the word computer means. They're just a bunch of they don't know what computer means. They're dumb as rocks. Those people, I tell you. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, what it is. Root sport. It doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. We got them in the Bronx, too. They don't even do 930 on their SAT because they don't even know what SAT is. They don't know what computers are. I mean, come on. Computers are new to those. Oh, folks, don't go away, please. Stay with us on Snowmageddon Day. We'll be back.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
James Golden, known popularly as Bo Snerdley.
This is The Rush Hour with James Golden.
Rush.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
Right now we have, young black kids growing up in the Bronx who don't even know what the word a computer is. They don't know. They don't know these things. And I want the world open up to all of them, because when you have their diverse voices.
Yes, my friends. Look, I was asked the question, Ebonic interpret. Why are that group of black liberals, black folks, laughing as Gavin Newsom calls them dumb and ignorant? Why are they laughing? I said, I shall explain. This has a deep, profound, my friends, cultural implication that goes back hundreds of years, why they were laughing. And I can explain it this way, perhaps with an anecdote spun out of the imagination, but perhaps somewhere it has. Which one is Newsom, Beavis or Butthead? I don't remember which one on Beavis and Butthead did. I'll have to look that up. I get texts as the show's going. Meanwhile, let me explain this culturally to you. And again, I'm not saying that this is historically accurate, but it can give you the explanation that you seek. Whether it be have a grain of truth or many truths, we'll have to research. Back in the days, let's say 200-300 years ago, when Gavinius the Great owned a huge plantation, Gavinius came over here from Europe and decided to import people to do the work. Because, let's say, for instance, in our story, Gavinius was raising cotton in the deep, dark South of America. And Gavinius had a labor force that worked against. They were not paid. They were stolen people on Gavinius's land. And they knew that unless Gavinius the Great were happy, they would be whipped, perhaps killed, or even sold. So when Gavinius came out, Master Gavinius, as he was called back then, in the Democrat South of America, yes, the Democrat Party, was the political party, you see, of the South of America. When Gavinius came out and spoke to his workforce, the involuntary workforce, he would say, do this, do that. And the involuntary workforce would have to do it and comply. Otherwise, they'd be beaten, killed, murdered, their wives raped, their children sold, or whatever horrible evil the Democrat Party men could inflict upon them in those days. It became a reflex action. If massa say something, then you grin and you bear it. Otherwise, the rebels were dealt with swiftly and harshly. So, for instance, Gavinius might say, have another owner of people visiting. Look at them boys over there. Them boys, they're not too good. They don't have too much. They don't pass their SATs. They're not that smart, not that bright, but boy, can they lift and tote. Boy, can they pick that cotton from early in the morning, sunrise, till the sun go down. And come here, boy. Come here. Come on over here, boy. Look here. Come on and dance. You like to dance, don't you? Back then, they could say the word without fear of repercussion. Right now, we can't say that word on the air. But they used to say stuff like that. Come on, come on, boy, dance. You do want to dance for us, don't you, boy? Yeah, yes, massa. Yes, massa. Well, you see, that kind of behavior instilled in a peoples over a long period of time has been ingrained among those who are still enslaved. Not to everybody in the population, mind you, but just to those who are still enslaved mentally. Not to everybody. A lot of people have freed themselves and emancipated themselves from these types of people. So let's say now we're down in generations. Old Gavinius has long passed and gone to his reward. Notice I did not say heavenly reward. I just said his reward. Gavinius has passed into history and gone on to his reward. And after many generations, we have the son of Gavinius, the great-great-grandson, maybe, of Gavinius. And he said, and the great-great-grandson of Gavinius says something like this.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. And I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940.
Master said a funny.
Literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
Look here.
Maybe the wrong business to be in.
Master joking with us. Ooh, that funny, Master. Ooh, you dumb just like us. Ooh, we so tickled by you. Why we want to vote for you for president, Master. That explains why, instead of being insulted and acting like most normal people would be when they're being told that they are dumb and ignorant and illiterate, that would explain why that particular audience of liberals sat up and laughed at something that clearly is not funny. I hope the explanation makes sense to you. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. This, by the way, doesn't have anything to do with race. It has to do with mentality. Hence, I give you another very famous individual talking with people of color. Another Democrat talking to people of color. For this particular journey through history, ladies and gentlemen, we will have to go across the seas. Not to Europe, my friends, but to the dark continent. We'll have to go to the tip-top bottom of the dark continent, to Johannesburg, South Africa. And there we have the president then of the United States of America speaking to a room full of black people. Cut 10, and this is what that sounded
Africa.
like.
We're going to all have to work together to find ways in which collectively we reduce carbon, but we make sure that there's some differentiation so that countries that are very wealthy are expected to do more, and countries that are still developing, obviously they shouldn't be resigned to poverty simply because, the West and Europe and America got there first. That wouldn't be fair. But everybody's going to have to do something. Everybody's going to have to make some important choices here. And, I expect that it's going to be your generation that helps lead this, because if we don't, it's going to be your generation that suffers the most. Ultimately, if you think about all the youth that everybody's mentioned here in Africa, if everybody's raising living standards to the point where everybody's got a car and everybody's got air conditioning and everybody's got a big house, the planet will boil over.
Stop right there. This is the President of the United States speaking to African people, telling them, look, it's going to fall to your generation. Now, look, you young African, y'all the original. Listen, if all of you think that you're going to have a big house, that all of you think that you should have a car, for goodness sakes, if all of you think that you should have air conditioning, the world's going to blow, the world's going to end. It's going to boil over. You can't have it. You're not even supposed to want a house or a car or air conditioning. And then the black Democrat president got on his air-conditioned Air Force One and went home to his big white house with air conditioning, with an entourage of cars trailing his car, which was appropriately named the Beast. But you in Africa, y'all are not supposed to want cars and houses like they do in Europe and everywhere. Not you people. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that might explain something else. This sort of mentality. You might remember this. This is a little difficult to hear, but we have a news report here. This is a cut 11 from the good old days, ladies and gentlemen. Here.
Reverend Jesse Jackson is caught on tape saying negative comments about fellow Chicagoan Barack Obama. Jackson's off-air remarks with Dr. Reed Tuckson were recorded during Fox and Friends and later broadcast on The O'Reilly Factor.
Talking down to black people on those faith-based talking down to black people.
Jackson immediately went on the defensive at his Chicago-based Rainbow Push
He
Coalition
said, what you didn't hear, he said, that Obama, I can't stand him. I'm paraphrasing. I want to cut his nuts off. I'm tired of the way he talks down to black people. Yeah. Jesse Jackson was complaining about Barack Obama, this was before Obama was elected, for talking down to black people and said he wanted to cut his the jewel case off. I guess he knew something. The recently departed Jesse Jackson. I just thought I'd bring those things from history. Now, time is running short. Let us switch our view from the Democrats and their racist mentality to other things. We don't have time to get into what happened in Mexico today. Perhaps tomorrow we will. But I thought you might find this interesting. This is from a scholar, ladies and gentlemen. She's a scholar, and she studies the right wing. She's a right-wing scholar. She says so in the beginning of her presentation. This is cut 16. So please, let us listen in together to this scholar who studies the right wing of America.
I'm a scholar of the far right who has fled the United States to Canada, and I need help. The situation in Canada is absolutely dire. For Americans who don't know, the housing crisis here is worse than in the United States. I lived in LA for 6 years, and I have not faced rent as bad as here. When my partner, our cat, and our dog fled the United States, we headed north with the goal of being close to where our families are located, which is on the West Coast. So we are now in British Columbia. More specifically, we are in the Sea to Sky Highway in the Greater Vancouver area. We are attempting to find housing in the western side of this region. My partner and I are here on a visitor visa, which is a 6 months possible stay for Americans. But while you're here on a visitor visa, you can't work. So we are currently surviving off of what savings we could get together before we fled the United States. And that's not terribly much. And in Canada, I think it's actually the cost of living crisis is worse here, especially when you are shut out of the healthcare system, when you can't access any of the resources that Canadians have access to. What? And that's understandable. You know, I'm not a citizen of the country, but it is making the financial situation dire because we can't work. Because there are 2 adults, a cat and a dog, we are looking for more than a room, but 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom for free or below market rates. And I know that's a huge ask, but that's what we need. Canadians have been asking where I'm located and what I need because y'all are such lovely human beings. This is the ask. if you could help me by interacting, reposting this video, I would very much appreciate it to get this out there.
Okay, we got this. So let's just understand this. We have a liberal and her partner who have fled the United States. She's a scholar of the right wing. She has moved to the most expensive area in Canada, Vancouver Island, and now she's begging for a room because she can't work. She can't get health care if she's going to follow the law. So she's begging somebody to give her a room for free. In other words, she wants welfare. Boy, I tell you, these leftists are amazing. Miss Scholar, before you move somewhere, you should really check out where you're moving to. We got to go to a break. There's so much more I want to say about this. James Golden and Snerdley, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Rush. This is the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Bo Snerdley.
The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative.
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Rush Hour with James Golden.
Goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley.
Rush.
Now, here's James Golden.
I wish that the president, I don't know whether he has, and maybe I missed it. I know he's inviting the American men's hockey team to the White House, State of the Union. I wish he would invite the women, too. The women's hockey team, overtime, beat Canada as well. They deserve so much credit. So do the men. Carlos, we got to talk of hockey one of these days this week. Also, what's going on in Mexico and the National Angel Family Day, the president signed the proclamation for, among other things. So we'll try to get to that during the week, all of that and more. We're going to leave you today with the music of the Isley Brothers. My friend, Chris Jasper from the Isley Brothers, passed away last year on this day. American singer-composer. He had been diagnosed with cancer, 73 years old, 2 months earlier, and he went quick. This is one of the songs that Chris wrote. I did an interview with him, and we debuted one of his songs. What a beautiful man he is and was. His memory will live forever. Remembering Chris Jasper. May God bless. Protect each and every single one of you, your family, your loved ones. Love and gratitude for your being here with me, allowing me to be with you. God willing, we're back tomorrow. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.